I'm a lifeguard at Weeki Wachee Springs State Park. I love my job. Everybody here is like a big family. It's really interesting meeting all the guests we have here because I've met people from all over the world. People from China come, all over Europe. It's just a really interesting place to work.
It's one of the most unique state parks in the entire park system. We have a magnitude 1 spring here, and we absolutely love it.
Well, Weeki Wachee Springs State Park is one of Florida State's newest state parks. We became a state park in 2008, but the attraction was built in 1947, making us one of the originals. Not the original, but one of the originals.
So they came up with this idea of let's incorporate a city. If we get an incorporated city, we can have our name fit, on a map. The government recognizes it. We can have like Weeki Wachee 12 miles, Weeki Wachee 5 miles. So that's how they kind of came up with the idea.
So the city of Weeki Wachee is basically the 4 cabins that are behind Weeki Wachee, the park itself.
Weeki Wachee, back in the day, it was a big thing. It was like Disney World back in the 50s and the 60s and 70s.
The problem that Weeki Wachee has is it's one of the last of the roadside attractions.
Florida. If you look eastward, this is Weeki Wachee, 40 miles outside of Tampa, Florida, a playground of the nation. It's getting ready in the fall now for its winter season, and here at Weeki Wachee, it begins today with a special Sunday show. You're about to go down into the world's only underwater theater. And the show is on. Now you are underwater with our live television cameras in one of the deepest and clearest springs in the world, looking at a most unusual sight and most unusual stage. The water gushing up out of a cleft in the earth 137 feet below the surface. Let's watch the show a bit.
Hello, ladies. Hi there, men. A birthday greeting we'd like to send. It's a very special year for our little sister dear.
In this magnificent setting, the world's most highly skilled underwater artists entertain daily in a performance of beauty and daring. Viewed from the new $1 million underwater theater in year-round air-conditioned comfort.
We have an underwater theater that sits about 16 feet below water level, and it can house about 500 people. And it's unique because it's submerged. It kind of looks like an aquarium if you've ever been to an aquarium, but it's unique. It's actually in a natural setting, a natural spring, so you actually see manatees, you see alligators.
This was the part that still gave her goosebumps. First the shadow, or a feeling of something was up there, right above her. She saw the alligator's tail fanning in the water as it turned and came back. She remembered twisting frantically in that sheath of lame binding her legs. She remembered the swirl of bubbles and sounds, her breath rushing out of her lungs, and a terrible pain pressing against her chest.
It was a very simple time. It was very slow compared to what it was in later times, compared to what it is today. The grounds were pristine. The spring was pristine. And there were no costumes. If there was a costume, it's because we glued something on our bathing suits. But basically, it was just we wore just a basic bathing suit. And we dove into the water from the top of the theater, which only seated maybe 75 people. It was not the theater that you see today.
It's a few short months ago, and Bonnie is interviewed by Thea Jorgensen, who will be her trainer. The qualifications are beauty of face and figure, and the ability to take directions and face long hours of strenuous physical discipline. Once she is accepted, Bonnie's training begins immediately. In the coming weeks, her determination and Thea's experienced teaching will combine to create another mermaid star.
While it may seem easy to be a mermaid, in truth it requires much dedication.
You must be scuba certified. You'll train for about a year long. You'll swim one part at a time in the show. The Sisters, then you move on to Chester, then you move on to Witch, and then last you're going to swim the Little Mermaid. And once you know all those parts, you become a full-fledged mermaid?
My personal identity is I'm a Weeki Wachee mermaid. Always have been, will be. All the people under the water are mermaids.
I've heard professional football players and sports guys talk about how when they leave the game, what they miss most is the locker room and their friends, and this is a sisterhood that you get nowhere else.
It's just a complete sisterhood here. Everyone knows everyone, knows everything about everyone, knows each other's boyfriends, parents, and brothers and sisters.
I mean, the Mermaids have been the brand of the attraction for the past 66 years, but there are other things here that you can do. We've got a riverboat cruise, which allows our visitors to journey down the Weeki Wachee River and see what is along the banks. Could be alligators, manatees, otters, anything that inhabits a natural waterway in Florida, as well as a reptile and animal show, which we do have show times, that we bring out native species to Florida, whether it's an American alligator, snakes that are indigenous to the state. And then, of course, we've got our water park, which is Buccaneer Bay, and it's Florida's spring-fed water park. And the water flumes actually take you or exit you right into the spring.
This park itself is truly a Florida treasure. The cultural significance of this park, I really do believe, is a Florida icon. The mermaids themselves represent 65 years now of Florida's tourism industry.
Truly beauty in the deep at Weeki Wachee on Florida's Sun Coast.